Hello, today we're going to teach you how to play RSVP to die by yourself. In this game, you play as cultists and you must sacrifice people, 10 people to be exact, and you must do it all within one night. And to accomplish that, you must do the only thing a reasonable cultist would do. You decide to throw a party. Mostly because kidnapping people takes way too long, and we don't got time for that, so we must get them all to our house, and we'll figure out the details later. First thing you want to do is make sure the board is in the center of the table within reach, and you want to make sure that all the guests, which are the little meeples, are in the bag. At this point, you will deal yourself 6 cards. And then you'll deal 1 card to each of the action spots and 1 card to the discard pile. You'll want to keep note of the rank of the card in the upper left corner. Make sure that we don't get any cards that are duplicates. If you do get duplicates, you'll want to set them aside and shuffle them back into the deck. At this point, you want to take the translucent discs and place them below the cards on the positive or negative. If it's 1 to 5, you'll put it on the positive. If it is 6 to 10, you want to put it on the minus. This indicates whether or not you want to play cards of these stacks in ascending order or descending order. Next up, you want to place guests, the meeples, in the rooms randomly, so that there's 5 in each room that corresponds with the rank of the 4 actions cards and the 1 in the discard pile. There should be 25 total guests out in total. At this point, you'll want to take the characters, choose a character. I'm going to play Winthrop in this case, and put the pawn that matches the name of the character in the landing. You have a picture, you have a name, and the color of the name is the one you put in the landing, and you have an ability. Which abilities will affect your game and give you some special ability for this game. Next, you'll take the black disc, and it goes on the party intensity track. You want to go green for easy at the bottommost spot, yellow for standard in the second spot, and red for hard in the third spot. For this particular game, we are going to go with standard. Now take the white disc and place it at the very bottom of the card draw stack. At this point, you can grab the player aids. 2 of them's fine. They have different information on front and back, so you could place 1 of them on one side, 1 of them on the other. At the beginning of your turn, you are going to draw a number of cards equal to the card draw, and then move that card draw 1 space down. If it's at the bottom, you can leave it. So I'll draw 1 card, and then you can play actions. After you've drawn your cards, you're going to play 1 or more cards to the different action spaces to get them to do something. The first action you could play is move. When you move, you can move your character up to 2 spaces. For sacrifice, if you play to sacrifice and there's a single guest in your room, you can add that guest to the objective track, bring you that much closer to victory. When you play to draw, what's going to happen is you're going to raise your draw level on this track up by 1. Keep in mind that after beginning your turn, after you draw, you're going to lower the draw meter. So you want to kind of get it up high. And last action, distract. When you play distract, you're going to move half the people from an adjacent room to your room, or you're going to move half the people from your room to an adjacent room. And for both of these, it's always rounded up, regardless of how many. At some point during the game, you're going to need to play a card to a stack, and you can't play against the ascending or descending of that action. What's going to happen is you are going to set the cards aside, put your card down, you are going to reverse the direction ascending or descending, and you're going to raise the party intensity level by 1. And then you're going to take the stack, and you are going to do the bottom action, which is typically bad for the players of the entire stack. If you don't intensify party and you decide to end your turn, you're going to draw a number of cards equal to the party intensity track, and you are going to play those cards one at a time. At the end of the turn, you're either going to mingle or you're going to intensify party. The first action that the game takes against you is move. It causes you to move all the characters one space according to the arrows. In this case, we're moving yellow. The next one is evacuate room. You're going to move all the guests in the room that correlates to the top card of the discard pile and move them one space following the arrows. This will empty that room. The next mingle action the game can do is add guests. You're going to take the number of guests equal to the party intensity track and add it to the room that correlates to the top card of the discard pile. The last type of mingle card effect is just effect. It could be anything. It could be, this one right here is one guest from the room with the most guests to the room with the least number of guests with at least one guest. So in this case, we'll move one of these to here. The game ends in one of two ways. When the players will get their 10th sacrifice, shown by this track up here, or they go to add somebody to the board and there's nobody left in the bag. They're all on the board, at which point they lose. And that's how you play RSVP to die.